Yeah, I said it.
Illustrations by Pete.
Now, before anybody gets excited, just calm down. I think that watercolor is better than acrylic for certain reasons, but there's a big reason why acrylic could be better than watercolor. Let's talk about that. Okay, now I'm doing an acrylic painting so that you fanboys and girls of acrylic do not get too pissed at me and I can continue this conversation. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using acrylic. Nobody get upset. I'm not saying acrylic is bad. I'm just saying that I think watercolor could be better, but for certain reasons. Let me explain what I'm talking about. So watercolor is cheaper in the long run. The tubes, they may be more expensive sometimes. And that's okay, because the little dot of watercolor that you put down will last a very long time. You need way more acrylic paint to cover the same amount of area. I went through a lot more acrylic paint on this painting than I ever would have done with watercolor. And one of the reasons is, even though the acrylic paint is slightly translucent where you see the reflection of what's underneath and it helps add to the color that you're putting down, but it's still very opaque in that it covers almost everything. Watercolor, you put very little down to get a strong color, and it's just a lot easier to do that with. Number two, and kind of ties in, but it's more cost effective. It sounds like the last one I just said, but this is different. Let me talk about this. So, with watercolor, you waste less. You can put your paint in pans or have them on a palette, and then just walk away. Go away for a month. Go away for a year. Come back to them. They're dried as a bone, and you just re-wet them and use them again. You can come back. It could be... I have paints that I have from 2015 that I put in a palette that's still the Holbein paints, and I just put one little swipe and the paint is all over the brush. There's not even a question. With acrylic, you put out what you think you'll use, and then if you don't use it up, you end up throwing it away. You could use like one of those stay wet palettes and put a moist sponge in it, but it only stretches so far. You're going to throw that away way before I throw away any kind of watercolor paints. So it just becomes more cost effective that way. Number three is easier cleanup. It is definitely possible to ruin watercolor brushes, but they are much easier to clean. If you have like a little color in the brush, it'll just wash out the next time. Or you could use a water brush and not worry at all. But with acrylic brushes, they're meant to be close to a sink, because no matter how much you rinse your brush in a cup, you could still never get all the paint out. You have that little bit of paint in them and you ruin the entire thing. You've got to get new brushes now. You need to be in a place where you can clean them properly and not just be on the go. And you can ask anyone who does any kind of plein air painting. You just have a little bit of acrylic that you didn't catch in your brush. And that's it. It's over. You got to throw it away. You got to go and try again. Number four is portability. So I'm going to combine the other 3 points and drive this one home. All these issues make watercolor so much more portable. With watercolor, you put the paint in your pan, you let it dry, you grab a water brush, a pad, a paper towel, you go anywhere. That's it. You can go to the beach, you can go to the desert, you can go anywhere. It doesn't matter. You go there and you paint. That's it. With acrylic, you have to be very careful. You need to have like a fairly stable area with a lot of room for water everywhere. You should be close to a sink to wash your brushes. I already talked about that. You need to paint very quickly or you'll end up wasting all the extra paint you put out. Because once it's out on the tube, it's it. It's over. You either use it or you toss it. And usually you mix too much because you don't want to run out. You want to make sure you have enough of that color. But then you got to throw it all away because you don't even use it all. And sometimes you put a couple of different colors out, and before you get to the one color, it's already got a skin on it. It's already hardening up. It's just, you got to do it quick. It's a quick thing. It's not like oils. Oils you can put out for a long time too. They're also messy And I'm not talking about them much this video. That's another subject. So, but I'm telling you, it's just so much more portable, which means you can go anywhere and create anywhere. In the car while you're waiting for someone to come out of a store or something, you can whip it, just start painting away. There's no problem with that. You can't do that with acrylic, so it doesn't lend to as much of the, oh, I'm in the mood to create, or I just got inspiration, I want to do something. Can't do that with acrylic as much. Okay, now I will get to the number one reason why acrylic paint is better, and it could be better because it may be better for you. It may inspire you more. You may like the way you work with it better. You may like the way it looks better. You may like how sturdy the finished work is, which lets you create more freely. And it might encourage you to create more art. And if that is the case, then do me a favor. Download this video on a thumb drive and throw it in the trash where it belongs. You need to do what you love to do, and don't let anybody else tell you any different. Not a crummy YouTuber like me, not a pretentious art teacher with a doctorate from CalArts, not a fake art guru that believes that they're so much more important than they really are. I'm debunking my whole video here. I should have never made it. Don't listen to anyone who tells you that one type of art or one type of medium is better than another. Is there one better than another? No. There are only preferences, and when it comes to that and nothing else, then it really depends on what you're looking for. What do you want to get from it? How are you going to work with it? How do you like to work? And that's it. That's the total story of it. So you do what you want, and don't let anyone tell you any different about that. There are pros and cons to everything that you will find, and you'll figure out what's best for you. You'll figure out, okay, I like using this more, I like using that more. Experiment with all the different things. Just do them all so you figure out what's best for you, and use that no matter what anybody else says. I use every medium I can get my hands on, and sometimes I like it, and other times it annoys me, so I just put it away for a while. So in this particular piece, I loved working with the acrylic. I loved the effects that I got with it. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. It was very quick, and this was a very fast painting. This did not take me a very long time, and it was fun. I enjoyed this one, and I could have only created it with the acrylic. That's what I was using, so I used it like acrylic, and it worked, and I loved it. So you have to be very careful who you take advice from. When they tell you, oh no, don't use that, that's not real art. Don't use watercolor, that's not real art. The acrylic, what are you doing with your marker? What are you, a child? You're using crayon? Don't listen to any of those people. You do whatever you have to do for you. Whatever makes you feel fulfilled, whatever you like to use, and you'll be able to connect with people because they'll see that excitement. And it's a fun time to be alive with art. And you do whatever you got to do. I think Bob Ross has probably said that more than anybody else in the world. This is your world. Nobody can tell you where has to go where and what has to do what. You figure that out. That's all on you. And I think that's a very important lesson. See what I did there? That's called the bait and switch. That whole thing. And then I did the ending like that. You don't get that anywhere else. It's only right here. Okay, now speaking of everywhere else, why is it that everyone who does any kind of long video, they attach masterclass to it? Oh, I'm going to show you how to make a thumbnail. Masterclass. I'm going to show you how to draw with colored pencil. Masterclass. I'm going to show you how to... It's not a masterclass. Just every thought that goes through your head, every notion you have is not a masterclass. That you have no idea what the phrase means. You overuse it. You don't know what you're saying. Masterclass is something where you take everything into account. You give every possible combination and different method and all those things. That's a masterclass. When you just talk to someone and just give them one way of how you do it, that's not a masterclass. You're a moron, and you're starting to piss me off. Well, that took a turn. I didn't mean for that to happen. It irritates me. I don't like when people do that. Everything's a masterclass. Oh, if you just send me your email. I'll send you a free masterclass on how to do that. This is ridiculous. It's not a masterclass. It's just your thoughts. So thumbs up the video if you've ever fallen for the masterclass thing and you wanted to then take your thumbs up and stick them somewhere else. That's about it for me. I'm going to go, and I'll see you in the next one.